Hi, welcome to Conversion Conversations. This is Cameron, and today I'm taking a look at Transformers Generations Selects Seacon Tenta-kil. Tenta-kil here is... I actually know this character more as Scylla from King Posiedon. I had to look up what the original Seacon name is. Tenta-kil is, to me, the most monstrous of the Seacons. It's just a weird walking squid thing. My Tenta-kil in particular, we can see, is missing a paint app on the eye, which at first I was a little disappointed about. I reached out to Hasbro. They said they couldn't replace the Tenta-kil figure, so I might try and go in with a yellow paint and add it myself. They said instead they'll send me something of equal or greater value, so I guess we'll see in a couple weeks what that ends up being. But Tenta-kil is just a bizarre sea monster. And when I got it in hand, I guess I hadn't been paying attention. People already knew this, but what I didn't realize was this is really what Power of the Primes / Siege Chromia, or Power of the Primes Greenlight. That's what this figure is, which is awesome as a remold. Like, I think that's really, really clever on their part. In terms of, accessories, Tenta-kil comes with the 2 guns. Tenta-kil comes with the other axe piece, which I actually think that I prefer storing it on C-Wing over here, sticking the gun through the axe like so, and then taking this, putting it in the port. Oh, flip it the other way. Putting this in a port right here. And then C-Wing's his wings are a little extended. I prefer sticking that over there. But I wanted to show it with the original figure. Tenta-kil does come with another Transformers hand, fist, Power of the Primes, Power Master little adapter piece. And yeah, as a base monster, Tenta-kil is still terrifying. We've got something that disappoints me just a little bit is the paint on the mouth. So we have the silver picking out the teeth nicely, and then they chose this like dark gray. It might be hard to make out, or it might be easier to make out on camera. I kind of wish this had been darker, like a black, the black that we see on his monster face, putting it back here to help pick out the silver on the teeth even more so. As is, it's kind of hard to make out the teeth against the gray background that is Tenta-kil's mouth. Articulation in this mode, he can flap his little sets of 3 tentacles. He's got main tentacle appendages that have fine articulation. They can kind of 360 on a ball joint. They've got a second ball joint up top to get a little additional articulation if you want Tenta-kil gesticulating. And then he's got 360 on these little leg pieces that like to pop out. Basically where what the Power of the Prime car mode's wheels were. And yeah, I mean, Tenta-kil, you can do some poses, but Tenta-kil is definitely one that if I was picking up the figures separately, not as a box set, Tenta-kil might be one that I'd skip out on, along with Scalor, which is funny just because they share the same color scheme. Tenta-kil has black in his color scheme to match up with Nautilus and C-Wing a little better. And again, looking at them as a set, like, they look great in individual modes. If I end up picking up the King Posiedon Beast Wars 2 Seacons, I'll have to see how I want to pose both of them, because I'm tempted to, one of them be in individual modes and one in a combiner mode. But yeah, Tenta-kil looks like a weird little monster, like just the weirdest little monster. And that's about all there is to say about this beast mode. So to get into transforming, first we're going to rip off Tenta-kil's face. We can separate, and you can see kind of the robot mode legs back here. This whole face armature can come up and out of the way. We can come in at the top of the crown of his little squid head. We can separate out these legs like so, splitting the feet apart. Then we can come in up top, and we can see kind of a robot mode chest underneath that face piece. We flip that open, and we can flip out Tenta-kil's head, like so. Then we can come in and turn around, holding this face skirt solid. We can come in and flip everything else about the torso and the legs around to get the head, the monster head out of the way. And, I mean, there is the bulk of Tenta-kil's transformation. This face piece, I don't really have a good way that I like to sit it. I wouldn't mind keeping it like a back skirt like this, but I also, don't mind this one, giving him, because the black doesn't really stick out or mesh with the rest of his body. Then we can come in and we'll just rotate these legs down to kind of hold that face plate in place. You can back up, those little... So he's got, out of all the Seacons, he's got the biggest backpack. And then fold in these little tentacle appendages to give him wrists. And now we have Tenta-kil. And Tenta-kil looks pretty great. I like how prominent the pink and blue is in his color scheme. It is funny to me that in the King Posiedon version of this team, Scylla is a female character. I think Scylla is getting some remolding done here, whereas the male Tenta-kil has, this very vibrant, very flashy color scheme. Scylla, with all the white, ends up fading into the background, I feel like, just a little bit in terms of color scheme. But one more time, Tenta-kil has a pretty decent robot head. I'd say out of all the robot heads, this is my least favorite. I feel like the mouth and nose just kind of goes in a mush just a little bit. Articulation, he's got good ball joint up top at the neck. He's got 360 dodging out for his massive backpack back here at the shoulder. The way the shoulder pauldrons are cut prevents a little bit of angular. He can't go full T-pose, which is unfortunate. I'm kind of surprised by that. I figured this would be a deeper cut to allow for a little more posability. He's got a good ball joint at the elbow. And then he does have wrist articulation, which is surprising to me because this is not necessary for any sort of transformation as far as I know. But it's there if you need it. Again, we saw due to transformation, he's got a great waist. The legs, I feel, are a little loose. Out of all the Seacons, though, Tenta-kil is the only one that has double-jointed knees, which are fantastic, and has our ankle articulation, which I think, sets him... Normally, I'd say he's like Scalar's level. He's kind of the lower end of the Limbots. But I'd say the additional articulation bumps him up above Scalar. So Scalar is still my least favorite individual robot. We can give Tenta-kil his two guns, like so. And then out of all of them, he doesn't have the most obvious place to put this hand-foot gun. I think on the original Power of the Prime mode, it kind of could function back here. And I like this back here just to give him some additional stability because he has such a big backpack. Now, like this, you can have him in some additional poses. I will say, unfortunately, just due to the use of this mold, this joint is a little loose here. The ball joints and the hips, I'm probably going to future floor polish. But other than that, like as an individual robot, I think Tenta-kil looks pretty cool. Again, like I said, if I'm ranking here, it's almost like this. Turdler and Tenta-kil, I'd say, are like the same level. Scalar is my least favorite out of all of them. And then Nautilator is my favorite. And Overbite and Sea-Wing kind of sit like so. So in terms of, favorite to least favorite Seacons, that's kind of how they fit. Again, like I said, I'll be doing all the limb modes and the weapon modes and combiner mode in one dedicated video. So if you like this, subscribe and check me out next week when we take a look at Piranhacon. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day.